10 games to buy at GenCon. Let's go. Now just to clarify, this is my list, but I still want to hear about what games you guys are looking forward to purchase in the comment section down below, because I love hearing all the different games that everybody's excited for. With that being said, I just also want to clarify that the way I found out about these games are through Board Game Geek's website, through their preview list of games that are going to be at GenCon, and searching under their for sale tab for the games that are going to be for sale. Now I don't know how accurate that list is, like for example, Last Light on there by Grey Fox Games, designed by Roy Canaday over at Dice Tower, says it's for sale, but as far as I know, that game is still in production, but they do mention that they're going to have deluxe versions available. I think that just may be a demo version of the game, and you can sign up through the Pledge Manager perhaps if you wish to get a copy of that game. It is a 4X space game that plays in under an hour, with cool looking components like 3D planets and spaceships, with simultaneously play that allows for a quicker 4X experience. Now, if there are copies for sale for that game, I imagine they will sell out pretty quickly, so check out Grey Fox booth right away if that sounds like a game that you're into. But again, I'm not 100% too sure if that game is going to be for sale or if it's just going to be for demo purposes. Moving on to Earth. Now I know everyone's been hyping up Earth lately. It has tons of great reviews. It sounds like a really fun time, but really honestly, the copies that I've seen that are for sale are crazy high, like $100. I don't think it's a $100 game. So if you want to pick up yourself a copy of Earth at GenCon, might be the place to do it. This is an open world engine builder for 1 to 5 players. There is tableau building, and every single time you play this game will allow you to discover new synergies and connections with different unique nature cards and combinations that you can make. From what I gathered so far, Earth seems like it is a fun time. It's on a lighter style game compared to like Terraforming Mars or Ark Nova. So if you like those type of games, then you're probably gonna like Earth as well. Now let's move on to the next game. SkyTeam. This is going to be a 2-player cooperative game in which you are playing as pilots of an airline. The goal of the game is to work together as a team and land the plane in different airports around the world. Basically, this is a dice placement game that you're working with somebody else in order to land a plane through different airports, and I believe there are 10 different airports that you can use as you play through the game. Seems super light and it only plays in roughly 15 minutes. If that sounds like your type of game, definitely pick up SkyTeam. Now, if you're a Disney fan like me, then this next game might also sound really interesting, and that is Disney Animated. You are going to create your favorite classic Disney animated film, but the twist is the villains are going to try to stop you because they know how the story is going to end. You are going to be playing as an animator, selecting different action cards where you can paint or draw animations, add some editing music, add some backgrounds, and finally sound. Honestly, this game looks amazing. I think a lot of people will be really interested in this, especially if you are a big Disney fan. This is going to be a game worth picking up. Steam up A Feast of Dim Sum, a set collection game where you must spin the dim sum in your zone and try to score as many points as possible using different asymmetrical characters, based off the Chinese zodiac. Now, I've actually had a chance to review this game way long ago before this game went to Kickstarter. I found it super fun and great. There are copies that are going to be available at GenCon. If you're really into set collection, this is definitely one that's worth adding to your collection. It's very unique. It has a spinning board where there's different stacks of dim sum, and you are trying to get to the very last stack and get as much dim sum as possible. And you're going to be using different characters with their own unique ability to help you aid in that quest. There's different fortune cards that can change the event of the game based off the different abilities that they can provide you. It's honestly a super fun and simple game with a very unique theme, so check out Steam Up A Feast of Dim Sum. Everdell Farshore. Worker placement and tableau building at its finest with some cool ships based off the original Everdell system. This one will add some cool new ship meeples to help keep track of points, as long as new anchor tokens to help allow you to put out your critters a little bit easier. Now, I've only ever played Everdell once. I really enjoyed it, but I don't actually own a copy myself, so this new version of it seems a lot more interesting to me. But I honestly think both versions are great. I just don't know if you need both, but if you are a fan of the Everdell system and the worker placement mechanics in the game, then this one is probably worth picking up. Wandering Towers. Help your wizards get back to Raven's Keep as quickly as possible, but be careful because there are towers that will cover up your wizards, and Raven keeps on moving around the board. You can play spells to help you to roll your dice and fill your potions. It is a wizard racing game that looks like a lot of fun to play. There are towers in the game that are going to be stacking on top of each other, covering up the wizards that are under the towers underneath, and those are going to be constantly moving around the board, so you need to remember where all your wizards are at all time in order to win. What's also really neat about this game is the publisher actually included an insert for the game that you can actually fit those towers in without taking them apart, which really helps speed up setup time, and I just really appreciate that when publishers do that. So this game can easily hit the table and be set up right away to have a fun time. Now next up, I have probably one of my favorite games that are going to be for sale, and it's probably going to get sold out because I guarantee there's only going to be a limited amount of copies there, by Shadowborn Games, and that is Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Just an absolutely amazing campaign boss battle game for 1 to 4 players that allows players to focus on a narrative choice-driven campaign and immerse themselves in rich miniature combat encounters. Again, I don't know how many copies are going to be available, but they are listed for sale under the Board Game Geeks preview list. So if you don't have a copy of Oathsworn and you missed out on the Kickstarter, the second printing, then GenCon might be a place to pick yourself up a copy. So get there before they get sold out. Now speaking about my favorite games, there's going to be a new expansion for one of my favorite games, Ruins of Arnak. The Missing Expeditions. This expansion will bring 2 new leaders, new artifacts, items, assistants, and 2 new paths to knowledge on 2 new tracks. They're also going to be adding a 6-chapter campaign to the game that you can play either solo or with another player. And in those 6 chapters, they're going to bring in new rules and goals and achievements in order to win. It just sounds like a great expansion to add the game and gives the game more story to it, which I absolutely love. So I also can't wait for that one. It's definitely going to be a must buy on my list. Last up from Plaidhead Games, I have Freelancers, a crossword game. Honestly, the whole reason why I want to buy this game is because it's been constantly popping up in ads all over my social media. It looks like an incredible, fun RPG-like board game that is set to offer a fantasy campaign experience where you can recreate your character, roll dice, and blaze your way through multiple stories set in a world of magic, monsters, and murder. There's also no game master that is required in order to play. You will simply immerse yourself in a fully voiced, industry-leading audio as you play through the game. Players are going to explore hundreds of branching paths in 5 highly replayable campaigns. You can mix and match a multitude of different species and jobs to build your own unique character. Game will also offer easy pickup and play with simple rules and no prep time. You can just dive in and start playing, which definitely sounds like an RPG game that I can get into. Super looking forward to this one. Let me know if that is your type of game as well. I also quickly want to mention 2 more games that I think are going to be for sale at GenCon. I'm not 100% too sure. But starting off, we have The Witcher Old World. Go On Board said they're going to be at GenCon, and you're going to be able to demo it for sure. But I wanted to mention it because I didn't mention it in my last video where I talked about the top 10 games to play at GenCon, which you should definitely check out, link down below. But they may also have copies of that game to purchase if you missed out on the Kickstarter. Also, a couple weeks ago at Comic-Con, they were selling Marvel Zombies, the Artist Special Edition set. Now that set comes with some Kickstarter exclusives, so I think they're only going to be selling it at cons. So if you didn't get the Kickstarter and you probably only picked up the core box, this might be available at GenCon if you check out CMON's booth. I'm not 100% too sure, but I wanted to give a heads up because they were selling it a couple weeks ago, and if they have any copies left, they're going to be selling it probably there. Now those are all the games that I'm interested in purchasing either at GenCon or in the future. Probably not going to buy them all, but they all sound like great games. Let me know what games you guys are going to buy at GenCon in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.